Hey folks, so I'm going to try something a little bit new, see how it works out. Now it's been a bit of a spring break. I hope you guys all had a good time, but I'm glad you're coming back. And this is going to be a little bit of a refresher to kind of get the juices going and get you back to where you need to be. Now in the last exam, there were 3-word problems, and out of the 3 of them, 2 of them had some very common mistakes that ended up leading to wrong answers. So in this and the next 2 videos, I'm going to go ahead and cover these 3-word problems to make sure that you've got it down, and you can always bring any questions to me in class. Now, if you have your exam still, I want you to pause the video really quick, go ahead, grab your backpack, get the exam out. I want you to follow along with me so that you can see what the mistakes are and perhaps better understand the feedback I gave you on your exam. So, let's get started. I put our equations up here first, and I paraphrased the problem. We've got a firework that's being shot upward from the ground 80 feet per second. What is its maximum height? Now, the first thing that we need to do, and the first thing that you always need to do when you are doing word problems, every single time, is let's write down what we know. Because if we have to keep looking at the problem and trying to pull it out every single time, we're going to just get confused, we're going to end up plugging in something wrong, or whatever. You're going to hear me saying this a lot over the course of this and the next couple of videos because it is super important. Now, what do we know? Fired upward from the ground. What does that mean? Well, most of you had that down pretty well. It means that the initial height is 0. Phenomenal. Got something started already. Now, initial velocity, 80 feet per second. Okay, let's write that down. And what are we looking for? We want to know what its maximum height is. Okay, fantastic. So, maximum height. Now we talked about this. This is one of those things that a lot of you really understand. When a projectile reaches its maximum height, there's only one thing that we know about it, and that is that its velocity at that time is 0. Fair enough. So, looking at the pieces we have and looking at our equations, we need to determine which equation is appropriate for the situation. It looks like we've got initial velocity, we've got velocity, we don't have height, so it looks like we're going to have to use the velocity equation. And you know that the velocity is 0 because, again, when the object reaches its maximum height, its velocity goes from positive to negative. Just for a moment, it's at 0. All right, so let's go ahead and put what we have into our formula here. Velocity is 0 equals negative 32t plus our initial velocity, which is 80. Subtract 80 from both sides, divide by negative 32, you end up with t equals 2.5 seconds. Good start. What we're going to do is we're going to add that into what we know. I'm going to erase this. We now know that the time it took is 2.5 seconds. And this is very important. This is the time that it took to reach its maximum height. All right? The time it took to reach its maximum height. If we were talking about any other moment in time, this t equals 2.5 would no longer be valid. Now, t equals 2.5. Now we can use that because we're looking for the maximum height. Now that we have time, we can plug that into our height equation. H equals negative 16t squared plus v0 t plus initial height. You don't actually need to put the plus 0, I'm just putting it for clarification. Math. I recommend when doing this, doing it one step at a time. Square the 2.5 first, then multiply these two, then add everything together. If you try to put it all in your calculator at once, chances are you're probably going to make a mistake and things are going to end up not working out. 2.5 squared times negative 16 ends up being negative 100. 80 times 2.5 is 200. So we end up getting height equals 100 feet. Now again, most of you got this problem correct. In fact, I don't really think anybody didn't. But the problem happens when you try to use this same exact method that we just used on future problems. And you'll see what I mean in a moment. Thank you for watching.